Welcome back to Classic Lit Chat, the channel where we dive deep into the stories you love. Today, we re-unpacking one of the most iconic scenes from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, the moment Mr. Bennet reveals he has, in fact, visited Mr. Bingley. It's a masterclass in character, wit, and family dynamics. So let's get into it. The scene opens with a classic Bennet family moment. Mr. Bennet, observing his second daughter Lizzie trimming a hat, casually drops a bombshell disguised as a simple comment. "I hope Mr. Bingley will like it." Lizzie. The reaction is immediate. Mrs. Bennet, who has been relentlessly nagging him to make this very visit, is instantly resentful. "We are not in a way to know what Mr. Bingley likes," she snaps, "since we are not to visit." This is the core of the conflict. Mrs. Bennet's entire world revolves around securing advantageous marriages for her 5 daughters. The arrival of Mr. Bingley, a wealthy, single young man, is the most exciting event to happen in her neighborhood in years. His presence represents a golden opportunity, and her husband's apparent refusal to make the formal introduction is, in her eyes, a catastrophic failure of his fatherly duty. She is a woman on a mission, and Mr. Bennet is her biggest obstacle. Elizabeth, ever the pragmatist, tries to smooth things over. She reminds her mother that they'll meet Mr. Bingley at the upcoming assemblies and that their neighbour, Mrs. Long, has already promised to introduce them. But this does little to soothe Mrs. Bennet's frayed nerves. She immediately dismisses the idea, launching into a tirade against Mrs. Long. She has 2 nieces of her own, she complains. "She is a selfish, hypocritical woman, and I have no opinion of her." This is so telling of Mrs. Bennet's character. She sees every other woman with eligible female relatives as a direct competitor. In her mind, the race to catch Mr. Bingley is a zero-sum game, and she trusts no one. It's a glimpse into the high-stakes, competitive nature of the marriage market in the early 19th century. For women of the Bennet's social standing, with no great fortune, marriage was the primary path to security and social mobility. And what does Mr. Bennet do? He agrees with her. "No more have I," he says, "and I am glad to find that you do not depend on her serving you." This is where his playful, teasing nature really shines. He's not just disagreeing with his wife for sport, he's setting up his grand reveal. He is subtly leading her down a path, letting her vent all her frustrations before he pulls the rug out from under her. He enjoys observing the chaos and absurdity of his own household. The conversation then takes a brief, comical detour. Mrs. Bennet, unable to contain her agitation, turns her irritation on poor Kitty, who has the misfortune of coughing. "Don't keep coughing so, Kitty, for heaven's sake, have a little compassion on my nerves. You tear them to pieces." Mr. Bennet, of course, can't resist adding his own dry commentary. Kitty has no discretion in her coughs. She times them ill. It's a perfect example of his detached, ironic amusement at his family's expense. He treats their dramas like a spectator sport. The focus quickly returns to the main event, the ball and Mr. Bingley. Mrs. Bennet realizes with horror that Mrs. Long won't even be back in time to introduce them. The situation seems hopeless. This is the moment Mr. Bennet has been waiting for. With a perfectly straight face, he suggests that Mrs. Bennet should be the one to introduce Mr. Bingley to Mrs. Long. Impossible, Mr. Bennet, impossible, when I am not acquainted with him myself. How can you be so teasing? She cries. She is completely exasperated, utterly convinced of his indifference. He then praises her circumspection with mock seriousness, talking about how a fortnight is too short a time to truly know a man. He's drawing out the suspense, enjoying her frustration immensely. And then comes the punchline. He says that since Mrs. Long and her nieces must stand their chance, and since Mrs. Bennet declines the office of making the introduction, he will take it upon himself. The girls just stare at him, stunned. Mrs. Bennet can only muster a weak nonsense. Nonsense. Mr. Bennet feigns offence. Do you consider the forms of introduction as nonsense? He even pulls the bookish Mary into the conversation, asking for her philosophical opinion, knowing full well it will fluster her. He's a puppet master, and his family are his marionettes. He is having the time of his life. I am sick of Mr. Bingley, Mrs. Bennet finally exclaims, pushed to her absolute limit. And this is the cue for his final, triumphant reveal. I am sorry to hear that, he says with faux sympathy. If I had known as much this morning, I certainly would not have called on him. It is very unlucky. But as I have actually paid the visit, we cannot escape the acquaintance now. The effect is exactly what he wanted. Total astonishment. Mrs. Bennet's reaction is the most extreme. After the initial shock, her joy is boundless. She immediately rewrites history, declaring that this was what she had expected all the while, and that she knew she would persuade him eventually. Her anger vanishes, replaced by gushing praise for her excellent husband. It's a hilarious and insightful look at her ability to instantly reshape reality to fit her desires. Mr. Bennet, having achieved his goal and thoroughly enjoyed the spectacle, makes his exit. Now, Kitty, you may cough as much as you choose, he says. A final little jab that shows the whole performance was for his own amusement. He is fatigued with the raptures of his wife and retreats to the peace of his library. Once he's gone, Mrs. Bennet holds court. She praises him to the girls, completely forgetting how she was maligning him just minutes before. She immediately starts planning their social campaign, telling her youngest, Lydia, that Mr. Bingley will surely dance with her. Lydia, brimming with the confidence of youth, isn't worried at all. I'm the tallest, she declares, as if that settles the matter. The scene concludes with the Bennet women spending the rest of the evening in happy speculation, planning their next move in the grand game of securing Mr. Bingley. So what makes this scene so brilliant? It's the perfect introduction to the Bennet family's core dynamics. We see Mrs. Bennet's obsession with marriage, Elizabeth's sensible nature, Lydia's fleetiness, and Mary's awkward pomposity. But most of all, we see Mr. Bennet. He's sarcastic, intelligent, detached, and loves to gently torment his family for his own entertainment. He may seem indifferent, but his actions show he does, in his own way, care about his daughter's futures. He just refuses to get caught up in his wife's frantic hysteria. This scene sets the stage for everything that follows. The visit to Mr. Bingley is the inciting incident of the entire novel, the single action that puts all the characters on a collision course. It's done with such wit and humor that you can't help but be charmed. Austen shows us, rather than tells us, who these people are, and she does it through pitch-perfect dialogue and a deep understanding of human nature. It's a reminder that even in a world of strict social rules, there's always room for a little bit of fun. What's your favorite Mr. Bennet moment? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into classic literature. See you next time.